start with the technical stuff. How are we going to bend a string on the guitar? There's two types of bends, a push bend and a pull bend. Let's start with the push bend, which is the most common for the type of playing that you would be doing the lead playing. Now, there's three things to remember here: fingering, thumb and forearm position, muting. How are we going to do that? Let's start with the fingering. Fingers 2 and 3 are going to be working together. This is the most common way to bend. And I'm going to start with the 7th fret, for example, on the G string. So third finger goes on the 7th fret and second finger goes right behind it on the 6th to support. Second part, the thumb. This is going to rest on top of the fretboard, and this goes as well with the forearm positioning. So you want to make sure there's a lot of space here. Don't want to get cramped because, you know, this is not going to help you with rotating the wrist to produce the bend. And also the thumb needs to be on top, like I said. If you go like that, as if you were playing a bar chord, again, this is not going to help you with the movement. So thumb on top, fingers are ready, and we've got the index finger. Now, what's that doing? This is going to be taking care of the noise that might be produced, most probably will be produced from the lower strings of what we're bending. So you need to make sure this is laying flat on the strings, just touching them, not fretting anything, just touching to get rid of any noise that the string will make as you return the bend. Because inevitably you're going to be touching some other strings as well with your fingers as you push the string up. And we don't want to hear those. So let's get to the sound after all that. So I want to bend up a whole tone, meaning I want to hear fret 9. So what am I doing? The motion, well, the bending itself doesn't come from the fingers, so I'm not really pushing the fingers up here. None of that. What's happening is, if you look at it this side, is that the whole forearm is sending this information to the back of the palm and the wrist itself to do a little rotation. It's actually not an important, well, it's not a significant move. It's just a little move, but it does the work. So you want to feel this muscle here, starting the rotation, transferring it all the way to your fingers. And then this pushes the bend up. Also, you can tell you're doing it right because this little part here of the arm is going to swell because the muscle is moving, right? So this is essentially a couple of things to remember when bending, pushing the bend, okay? So this is what's happening, a little tiny rotation. Let's do it one more time for that fret. And check out how this finger is helping me get rid of the noise, because otherwise it would have been... Can you hear it? It's a D string vibrating, as would be expected, because you just touched it. Now, another thing to pay attention to, you don't want your wrist coming up here. You don't want the rotation ending here. It needs to be traveling all the way here. So don't waste all that, muscle movement you did to get here. You want it to get here, okay? So it's a mental process a little bit, and then of course a lot of muscle control involved. Now this is the push bend. What about the pull bend? For example, if I go on the D string, there's not enough space to bend up, typically, in most guitars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down. So this is the opposite motion. Instead of rotating that way, I'm going to rotate that way. And I'm going to pull the string down. So let's say I want to do 7th to 9th fret. It's exactly the same, only I'm going towards the ground, right? So I'm pulling the string. And that's all you need to know about bending. Make sure you practice the push and pull bend separately. Different frets on the guitar, it doesn't matter, just so you can get used to the amount of push or pull you need to get the whole tone of a pitch up. Generally speaking, the 3 high strings, you're going to be playing the bends by pushing. The G string is an exception. You know, sometimes you might be pulling the vibrato. We'll talk about that later as well. And for the 3 low strings, you are going to be pulling the string down. Okay, good luck practicing that, and let's get to the actual scales in the next video.